Hello to all our friends and family from the Financial Advisory Group. We just wanted to pass along another update as we inch a little bit closer to that election next week. As of now, a lot of us try to figure out, what if we had a crystal ball, could figure out who's going to win this election, then we could figure out which way the market's going to go. But would that really be the case? Let's give an example, right? Let's say we had that crystal ball and sat down a year ago in October of 2019. We're sitting down on a nice fall day. We're having meetings in the office like we used to, face to face. And we're saying, okay, guys, here's what's going to happen over the next 12 months. In the next 12 months, a pandemic is going to hit the world. Our president is going to get this pandemic. In our country alone, millions of people are going to be infected with this virus. Hundreds of thousands of Americans are going to pass away. You're also going to have 20 to 30 million people laid off from their jobs in the months of March and April alone. Numbers we've never heard of before, setting records that the charts just jump off the screen. It's amazing to even look at. Doubling or tripling the unemployment rate in the span of a couple weeks. Professional sports canceled across the board. Basketball playing inside a bubble. Disney parks closing. Movie theaters closing. Kids sent home from school because they can't learn in school. They have to be sent home to virtually learn on their computer screens and from their parents, who also happen to be working from home. So everyone's basically going to be stuck at home for a couple months. If we told you all of this was going to happen in the next 12 months, when we sat down in October of 2019 and said, okay, here's our crystal ball, you tell me, what should we do the next 12 months? We have two options. Let's stay invested and maybe even do some changes every once in a while throughout the year, or let's go to cash, right? I think if most of us are honest with ourselves, even myself, and I was told that was going to happen the next 12 months, I think we'd all be pretty tempted to go to cash. The point of this, even if we have the crystal ball, even if someone would tell us who is going to win the election next week, it doesn't mean we can figure out which way the market's going to interpret that. Mr. Market does what Mr. Market wants to do. He doesn't care what we think we want him to do. He marches to his own beat. So the point we want to make is, instead of getting focused on the election and who's going to win, let's again focus on owning good companies and pay attention to other things. The things we're focused on today aren't necessarily the election, but three main points. One, the Federal Reserve continues to do all they can to stimulate this economy by keeping rates low, allowing individuals to refinance, and having the housing market probably in the best place it's been in 10, 15, 20 years. Also allowing corporations to borrow money at low rates they've never seen before. We've talked to somebody about Apple borrowing money at less than 1%. Second, the market's focused on some type of stimulus package. We, in our view, need a second type of stimulus package to help this economy along and help the bottom part of that K help get through this recovery. Now, it hasn't happened recently, and there has been talks of it, but our belief is, as we get past the election and head into the end of the fourth quarter and the beginning of the first quarter, there will be another stimulus package passed to help this economy out. Third, what path does COVID take, right? Just like we said in March, we're not even going to try to predict the path COVID is going to take in the short term. What we would argue is that when we look out 6, 12, 18 months from now, COVID will not be as big of an issue as it is today. Hopefully for all of us, that's a vaccine, that's therapeutics, that's us figuring out a way to live with this better than we can today. So instead of focusing on the election, we'd rather focus on those. And in our view, as we look out a year, 2, 3 years from now, we do see that there could still be some opportunities to be had in this market. Lastly, what we'd like to talk about is, as the year draws to a close, in the past couple years, we've found mascots for the year, right? So I'm going to show you here, I have to show you some charts, although I don't think these really count as charts. It's more of something to keep us at least smiling a little bit. Back when we looked at the market in 2018, if you remember, we sent this memo out and we said the market reminds us a lot of Charlie Brown's shirt. And that year we found ourselves saying good grief a lot in the market. The market just kept going up and down and up and down, ending 2018 with the worst December the market has ever had. So that's Charlie's shirt, right? That up and down movement. As we moved along into 2019 now, instead of having Charlie Brown as our mascot, someone much more fun, we had good old Superman. Why? Because the market basically went up, up, and away in 2019. It was a great year. Well, following up 2019, it's hard to really find a way to define 2020. But our belief going into 2020 and getting through 2020 is the businesses and the individuals who've made it through 2020 tend to be the ones who are the most flexible, the most nimble. So when we think about this, the character that comes to mind is our good old friend Gumby. And Gumby's message for 2020 is to be flexible and be nimble. So just like I say to my boys all the time, this is a great year to learn. You have to be nimble, right? We have to adapt. Just like in your plans that we have built up. Things may not be going exactly as we had to plan, but we can be flexible and adapt. In the investing world, yes, this year hasn't gone as planned, but in March and April, we can be flexible, adapt, and take advantage of the opportunities that are thrown in front of us. I have to give credit for this to a client of ours, Rick, so thank you, that he gave me this idea when we were talking the other day about flexibility matters in this market. That good old Gumby came to mind. So keep that in mind as we head to the end of this year, and keep in mind that the more flexible we are, the more nimble we are, probably the better we can handle 2020. Hang in there, have a great rest of the fall. We know we might not be able to see you before Thanksgiving, but a happy Thanksgiving to all of us, all of you out there from the Financial Advisory Group. And most of all, we thank you for placing your trust and confidence in us, especially in a year like 2020. Thanks, stay happy, and stay healthy.